How many supplements do you take? Do you take any supplements? A lot of times we rely pretty heavily on these, but just how important are they? I'm diving into everything involving supplements in this episode, so strap in, get ready for episode 229. Let's go.
The future of fitness.
How do you gain muscle mass?
Fitness is not complicated. It's simple when you break it down.
There's so much information out there.
No fads, no diets, just plain simple habits.
You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast.
Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here. If this is your first time listening, then welcome. And I tried to break down fitness into small, bite-sized chunks that are applicable to your life. For my return listeners, thank you for coming back. It means the world to me that you continue to tune in. If you have not grabbed your free meal plan, please head on over to bonestobulk.com/free meal plan and pick that up. It's delivered right to your inbox. Easy peasy. And I will link that in the show notes. All right, so with that being said, let's dive in. So supplements, maybe you are kind of one of those people who have avoided supplements, or maybe you've relied heavily on them. And what is the truth? Oftentimes, I get asked, hey, I want to gain muscle, how much protein powder should I consume? What kind of protein powder should I get? And in all honesty, protein powder alone is not going to build you muscle. I feel like it's like this go-to thing that we just assume if we start downing that powder, then we're going to just sprout muscles. But that's not the way it works, especially if you're a hard gainer or if you are trying to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Protein powder by itself is not going to do anything. So let's dive into, protein and the importance of it before we dive into some other supplements. So first off, 100%, I think whey protein is a great supplement to add into your diet. But supplements are simply that. They're supplements to an already good diet. If I don't change up my diet and I just start taking some protein powder, nothing is going to change. Nothing. So I've got to focus first on my nutritional intake. What kinds of foods am I eating? Am I eating whole, healthy, nutritious foods that actually do something for my muscle? Or am I just eating garbage that is empty calories in and empty calories out? And let me give you kind of an example of what I mean by that. When I first started my journey, I wasn't tracking calories then, but in hindsight, it was probably around 5,000 calories a day is what I was consuming. Now that's a crap ton of calories, but they all were coming from really bad sources. So I drank a lot of soda. Dr. Pepper was my go-to. I don't even know how much. I know there was a time when I was probably drinking, I would say 60 to 72 ounces of soda a day. Like in hindsight, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? I would eat Oreos literally by the sleeve. I'm not playing. I would sometimes sit down and eat an entire half gallon of ice cream in one sitting. Like I ate so much food, but it was all pure garbage. It did zero things for muscle development, and my body couldn't use those calories for anything. So it was either stored as fat or just burned off with my high metabolism. And didn't do anything. I didn't gain any muscle. And I was lifting consistently for about a year eating that way, and nothing changed. So my point is, you can't just have a crappy diet and take protein powder and expect muscles to grow. It wasn't until I started eating the right kinds of foods, whole nutritious foods like healthy carbohydrates, lean proteins, lots of vegetables and fruit, tree nuts, things like that, that my body started to develop and change, and I started to grow muscle. Like that's what it took. So the first thing I always suggest is focus on your food, and that doesn't mean you have to jump all in and just completely radically change your diet, like everything across the board, because it took you years to get to the point where you're at. It's probably going to take you years to undo all that negative food you consumed. So, don't feel bad if you take baby steps. That is okay, but just start small. Maybe that first step is cutting out soda and replacing it with water. Maybe it's cutting out the energy drinks, replacing it with water. Maybe it is not getting fast food 4 times a week and instead making something healthy, packing some lunches with you, even if it's just cooking up some chicken and taking some rice and some veggies with you, or if it's just even a sandwich on some whole wheat bread with some turkey and some low-fat cheese, that's still a better option than running through fast food. So, small steps make a huge difference. And yes, protein is beneficial. I recommend taking a scoop after your workout. within 30 minutes. I also recommend taking some about 30 minutes before bed because that is when your muscles do the most healing and repair. So having that protein available immediately as you go to sleep is super important. So I do recommend taking whey protein. It's not enough in and of itself. All right, moving through to the next supplement, creatine. You've probably heard about creatine. Creatine is something that is naturally produced in our bodies. We get a lot of it from, foods we eat, and then our body processes it and turns a lot of it into creatine. And basically what it is it's kind of the powerhouse for our cells. It's energy that our cells use. So in theory, the more creatine you have on hand, the more energy those cells have. So when you go down into the muscles, if your muscles have more energy, those muscle fibers, those cells, then you're going to be able to last a little bit longer in the gym. So you're going to get a little bit better pump, a little bit better workout, a little bit better stretch on those muscles. So that's why creatine can be really beneficial. Now, creatine is not a timed release thing. It's not like a pre-workout where you have to take it 30 minutes before your workout or anything like that. You can take it any time of day. The recommended daily dosage is 5 grams. Do not exceed that. And if you're taking a pre-workout, which I'll get into in a minute, check your pre-workout label because oftentimes pre-workout also has a little bit of creatine added into it. So you don't want to, take 5 grams of creatine plus your pre-workout, which pushes you over the 5 grams. So just kind of look at the label and see how much is in your pre-workout. And then pre-workout, is it a must? No, but it sure is helpful. Now, 100% authenticity, I don't always take pre-workout. If I'm working out super early in the morning, then yes, it's pretty much a staple. If I'm working out in the afternoons, I typically don't take any because I'm usually already kind of ramped up and ready to go by then. But it just depends. I don't think you should rely on it all the time, but there's definitely those days when you're dragging, when you don't feel like it, and so it can be really beneficial to help you push through your workout on those days. So just mix it with a little bit of water, take it about 30 minutes ahead of time. Typically, I do mix my creatine in with my pre-workout, not because it's a timed release thing. Creatine is just that way I remember to take it. That's primarily the only 3 that I use. Now, there are a lot of other good ones out there. Actually, a lot. I do take a super green food. It's like a super green powder, mix it in with my smoothie once a day. I just feel like it's beneficial to get that in. Definitely not a requirement. There's things like glucosamine tablets, which I do take those occasionally too. It helps with joint health. Some people take fish oil that can also promote your joint health. So there are a lot of things out there. I wouldn't say most of them are necessary. Like I said, the 3 that I take on 4 a lot that I take on a daily basis are the whey protein, the creatine, the pre-workouts, and the super greens. That's kind of my staple go-to, and then I'll add in other things as I feel they are needed. If I'm feeling a little extra sore, I'll take the glucosamine and the fish oil as well. So, don't feel that you have to get in this box where I have to just have this whole cabinet full of supplements. You don't. You technically don't have to have any. I will say the whey protein powder, if I had to pick one, that would be my go-to just because it's really helpful to increase the amount of protein you're getting. I do get a lot of protein from my natural foods, but it's still helpful to bump it up a little bit more with that protein powder. So I don't want you to fear supplements. I also don't want you to rely too heavily on them because they are not a fix-all. They're not going to solve all your problems. Food is going to solve your problem, and then the supplements come in to aid with that. I also get asked a lot what supplement brand I typically use, and I rely heavily on MyProtein. No, it's not MyProtein. That's the name of the company, myprotein.com. I love their stuff. It's pretty dang affordable, and it's a really good quality product. Side note, you can use the code BONES2BULK to get 40% off your entire order. Yep, 40% off. So head on over there, check them out for sure if you're looking to get some new supplements. All right, with that being said, if you are on any social media platform, please hit me up. I am everywhere at Bones2Bulk. You can find me on Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, and I would love to connect with you. With that being said, remember, no matter what you're facing, what things you're coming up against, you can accomplish any goal you set your mind to. You've got this.